If you are here, it is likely because you feel suspended in an in-between space. You have been holding your breath for a moment that feels destined, inevitable, almost written into your soul. You sense the connection is real, profound, and unshakable, yet the physical world refuses to catch up. You may be asking yourself quiet, painful questions. Why does he feel so close, yet remain just out of reach? Why does it feel like he sees you, senses you, almost chooses you but never quite crosses that final line? This waiting is exhausting, not because you doubt the bond, but because you cannot understand what is still missing. You have done the healing, you have held space, you have been patient with his wounds, his confusion, his silence, and still, something stops him at the threshold. What hurts most is realizing that it is not fear, not timing, not even uncertainty that holds him back. It is something deeper, something invisible, and until it is named, you are left carrying questions with no language. In today's video, we are going to gently but honestly name what has been stopping him and why it has nothing to do with your readiness. You will begin to understand that while you have been preparing for reunion, he has been undergoing a very different initiation. One that is rarely spoken about, one that cannot be rushed, persuaded, or proven through love alone. We will explore the inner discovery he must make before union becomes possible, not as a punishment, not as delay, but as a necessary awakening. You will see why waiting for him to choose you is not the same as waiting for him to become ready for union. This clarity is not about giving up. It is about releasing the false belief that more patience, more understanding, or more self-sacrifice will move him forward. And in that release, something powerful begins to shift. By the end of this video, something inside you will soften and strengthen at the same time. You will no longer carry the silent burden of believing that you are almost enough, almost chosen, almost there. You will understand that what he needs is not more time with you, but a reckoning within himself that only he can face. This understanding does not close your heart, it frees it. It allows you to stop waiting at a door that only he can open. It restores your breath, your grounding, your sovereignty, and perhaps for the first time, you will feel the quiet relief of knowing that nothing is wrong with you, nothing is missing, and nothing needs to be proven. Sometimes the deepest love lesson is not learning how to wait longer, but learning what you were truly waiting for all along. Stay with me, because once you see this clearly, you can never unsee it, and that clarity changes everything. Number 1. What no one tells you about the divine masculine path. The divine masculine is not only healing from past relationships. He is not simply untangling commitment wounds. He is not just learning how to open his heart or express vulnerability. Those experiences are real, but they are only the outer layers. Necessary layers, protective layers, layers that make the journey appear understandable from the outside. Beneath them, however, lies something far more essential. Before the divine masculine can step into true union, he must give himself permission to exist as he truly is. Not as the provider who measures his worth by output, not as the protector who believes strength means emotional silence, not as the one who holds everything together while slowly breaking inside, not as the man who feels responsible for having all the answers, but as the soul beneath the roles, a soul who feels deeply even when those feelings confuse him, a soul who does not always know what comes next, a soul who is still learning how to trust himself, a soul who is allowed to be unfinished, uncertain, and in process. This is the part of the journey few speak about because it cannot be rushed, witnessed, or managed by anyone else. This permission cannot be given by you. It cannot be earned through your patience. It cannot be unlocked by unconditional love or emotional availability. Because the lesson is not about being loved, it is about allowing himself to exist without performing. This permission is born in the quiet moments when he is alone with himself. When there is no one to impress, no role to maintain, no expectation to fulfill, no image to protect. It emerges when he finally stops running from the one person he has avoided his entire life, himself. And this confrontation is not gentle. It strips away identities he thought kept him safe. It dissolves the version of masculinity he was taught to survive through. It asks him to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it, to feel without immediately fixing, to listen without defending, to exist without proving. Only after this internal permission is granted does union become possible, because union does not ask him to become more. It asks him to become real. Before we move into what comes next, take a breath and let this land. What you've just heard isn't meant to be analyzed or fixed, it's meant to be felt. The divine masculine path is not loud or linear, and if this message stirred something within you, that stirring is not accidental. It's a recognition, an inner knowing that something real is unfolding beneath the surface, even if it has no name yet. If this resonates, take a moment to honor it. Like this video to support the message, and leave a comment sharing what this brought up for you. Or, if words feel unnecessary, simply type, "I allow the process." Your awareness is part of the unfolding, and what comes next builds directly on this understanding. Number 2. Why he pulls away when the connection deepens. You may have noticed a confusing and painful pattern. Just as the connection begins to feel real, he pulls away. Just as intimacy forms, he creates distance. And right when the bond becomes undeniable, when it can no longer be dismissed or explained away, he shuts down. From the outside, this is often labeled as fear of intimacy or fear of commitment, but that explanation barely scratches the surface. What if what's happening is far deeper than emotional avoidance? What if he is not running from you at all, but from the version of himself that your presence awakens? When he is in your energy, something inside him begins to crack open. The walls he built to survive start to soften. The armor he has relied on, control, detachment, logic, distraction, begins to dissolve. And beneath it lives a part of him he was never taught how to hold. There is tenderness there. There is sensitivity. There is a depth of feeling he learned very early to bury in order to function in a world that rewarded strength but punished softness. Your presence activates that buried self. Not because you demand anything, but because your energy is honest. It doesn't allow him to hide from who he truly is. And that level of exposure can feel overwhelming when someone has spent a lifetime disconnecting from their inner world. It is important to understand this clearly. Your love does not scare him. What scares him is the amount of himself he must reveal in order to receive it. To stay connected to you, he would have to stay connected to his own heart. And for someone who learned that vulnerability equals danger, that feels like standing unprotected in unfamiliar territory. So he retreats, not because the connection is wrong, but because it is real. Not because you are too much, but because the truth within him is finally asking to be acknowledged. Number 3. The core wound beneath all resistance. From an early age, he was conditioned to believe that his worth lived in function, not essence. He learned that value came from what he could accomplish, provide, or endure, not from who he was when he stood unguarded and still. Emotions were framed as liabilities. Vulnerability was treated as exposure. Asking for help was equated with failure. Needing another was quietly labeled weakness. So, he adapted. He learned to solve, to fix, to provide, to perform. He learned how to stay useful, capable, and externally strong. But no one taught him how to rest inside himself. No one showed him how to exist without earning his place. No one modeled what it meant to be loved simply for being. And now you appear, offering a kind of love that disrupts everything he was trained to rely on. You offer a love that does not demand achievement, a love that does not need him to prove anything, a love that asks for presence, not productivity. You invite him to feel instead of fix, to surrender instead of control, to receive instead of provide. And this is where the nervous system sounds the alarm. Because if he stops performing, if he lays down the role, the armor, the identity built around usefulness, a terrifying question rises to the surface. What if who I am, without effort or function, is not enough? This is the deepest wound, deeper than fear of abandonment, deeper than fear of intimacy. It is the belief that his authentic self, unprotected, unproven, unproductive, is fundamentally unlovable. So he pulls away, not because he doesn't feel the connection, not because he doesn't care, not because the love is lacking. He pulls away because loving you requires him to confront a truth he has never been taught how to hold, that love does not have to be earned. And until he can begin to offer compassion to the parts of himself he was taught to suppress, receiving unconditional love can feel more threatening than losing it. This is not resistance to you. It is resistance to self-acceptance. Imagine a moment that looks ordinary on the surface. You are sitting together in silence, no problem to solve, no plan to make, no role to play. You are simply present. You are not asking him for answers, reassurance, or direction. You are offering warmth, attention, and space. And instead of relaxing into it, you notice him grow restless. He checks his phone. He changes the subject. He suddenly remembers something he needs to fix or do, not because you did anything wrong, but because stillness exposes him. In that quiet, there is nowhere to perform, nowhere to be useful, nowhere to hide behind competence. Your calm presence gently asks him to exist without earning his place, and his nervous system doesn't know how. Distance becomes his reflex, not because love is absent, but because being loved without conditions feels unfamiliar and unsafe. In that moment, pulling away is not rejection. It is self-protection from a depth of acceptance he has never learned how to receive. Number 4. What the divine masculine truly needs before union. Before union can anchor in reality, the divine masculine must come into a realization that changes his relationship with himself at the core. He must discover that his worth has never been conditional, that love is not something to be earned through achievement, endurance, or emotional suppression. That strength is not proven by how much he can carry alone, and that vulnerability does not weaken him, it reveals him. This understanding does not arrive as a single dramatic awakening. It is not one conversation, one loss, or one sudden epiphany. Instead, it unfolds quietly through a series of small, often uncomfortable moments of self-acceptance, moments where he chooses to feel rather than numb himself, where he allows emotion to move through his body instead of shutting it down, where he asks for help instead of pretending he has everything under control, where he admits uncertainty instead of performing confidence, where he stays present with his pain instead of escaping it through distraction, avoidance, or denial. Each of these moments becomes an initiation, not into masculinity as the world defined it, but into authenticity as the soul requires it. These inner choices are reshaping his nervous system, his emotional capacity, and his sense of safety within himself. And they are happening whether you witness them or not. Often, they happen in silence. Often, they happen after separation. Often, they happen in ways that look like withdrawal or confusion from the outside, but are actually deep internal recalibration on the inside. There is no timeline for this process, because it is not about reaching a milestone or proving readiness to another person. It is about embodying a frequency that can sustain love without fear, the frequency of inner safety, where he no longer feels threatened by intimacy, the frequency of self-acceptance, where he no longer believes he must earn his place in connection, the frequency of being fully human, uncertain, emotional, imperfect, and still knowing he is worthy of love. Union cannot be built on performance. It can only be built on presence, and presence is something he must first learn to hold within himself. Number 5. Your role without losing yourself. Your energy matters, not because it has the power to accelerate his journey, manage his healing, or push him toward realization, but because your energy sets the tone of the field in which transformation either feels safe or feels suffocating. True safety is often misunderstood. It is not endless patience that ignores your own needs. It is not self-abandonment disguised as devotion. It is not waiting in silence while hoping someone else will eventually choose you. Those patterns do not create safety. They create pressure, obligation, and quiet resentment that the soul can feel even when no words are spoken. Real safety emerges when you are anchored in your own worth, when your love is offered freely, not anxiously, when your presence is grounded, not conditional, when you can hold space for another without disappearing inside that space. This kind of safety is calm, stable, and self-contained. It does not chase, demand, or collapse. It simply is. When you are rooted in your own completeness, something subtle but powerful happens. The pressure lifts. The energetic field changes. Space opens not as distance but as clarity. Your energy no longer communicates, "I need you to become something for me." Instead, it communicates, "I am whole, and I welcome what is real." In that space, he can finally turn inward without feeling like he is abandoning you. He can face his own shadows without the added weight of fearing that his process is hurting you. He can slow down, question himself, feel uncertain, and explore his inner world without feeling like he is failing someone who is waiting on the other side of his healing. And here lies the paradox of this journey. The more you release him energetically, the more room he has to choose you consciously. Not out of guilt, not out of obligation, not out of fear of losing you, but from a place of genuine alignment and internal readiness. This does not mean detachment equals indifference. It means love becomes clean. It means your energy no longer pulls, it invites. And invitation is something the soul can respond to freely. If you've made it this far, take a moment to pause and notice what is happening inside you right now. Not in your thoughts, but in your body and heart. This part of the journey is not about gathering more information. It is about recognizing yourself in what has been spoken. When truth resonates, it often arrives as a quiet yes, a soft exhale, or a feeling of being seen without needing to explain. Before we continue, give yourself space to reflect on how your energy has shifted, where you've learned to hold love without losing yourself, and what you are now ready to release. If you feel called, share your experience or insight in the comments to honor your own process and support others walking this path with you. Or simply type, "I remain whole while I love," as an affirmation of the grounded, self-honoring energy you are choosing to embody. Number 6. Discernment on the path. Not all distance is sacred preparation, and not all silence is integration. On this journey, it is essential to understand the difference because not every pause is purposeful, and not every withdrawal is part of divine timing. Discernment is one of the most important initiations the divine feminine receives, and it arrives when intuition begins to speak louder than hope. A masculine who is genuinely doing the inner work does not disappear without awareness. He may move slowly, he may need space to process, but he remains energetically present. He communicates, even if imperfectly. He shows respect, even when uncertain, and most importantly, he takes responsibility for his inner world, rather than leaving you to carry the emotional weight alone. True integration does not create prolonged confusion. It does not require you to shrink, second-guess yourself, or stay suspended in emotional limbo. It does not drain your energy or leave your nervous system in a constant state of waiting. When silence stretches on, without accountability, when explanations never arrive, only excuses. When the connection feels heavy rather than nourishing, these are not spiritual tests. They are signals. Union is not built on one soul doing all the grounding while the other remains hidden. It is not one heart holding faith while the other avoids responsibility. Sacred connection requires two people showing up not perfectly, but consciously, not flawlessly, but honestly. This is where the path shifts from longing to discernment, from hoping someone will rise to recognizing what is actually being offered. And when that clarity comes, the body speaks before the mind can rationalize it away. Your body tightens, your energy dulls, your intuition grows quieter not because it is absent, but because it is waiting for you to listen. Trust that knowing. Your intuition is not confused. It recognizes the difference between sacred space and emotional absence, between integration and avoidance, between divine timing and self-betrayal. Number 7. The deeper truth about union, where the journey truly begins. Union is not the final destination. It is the beginning. It is not the reward at the end of suffering, nor the moment where growth suddenly stops. It is the point where two whole beings, no longer fragmented, no longer seeking completion, choose to walk forward together in awareness. Union is not about being saved by love. It is about standing strong enough within yourself to let love expand through you. True union forms when two individuals come together not to escape life, but to serve it, to create something larger than themselves, something that carries intention, meaning, and purpose beyond personal desire. Love, in its highest form, is not only felt, it is lived, embodied, and expressed through action. Every moment of preparation has mattered more than you realize. Every tear that softened you instead of breaking you, every release that loosened old attachments, every surrender that taught you how to trust without losing yourself. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. This journey has been shaping both of you simultaneously, even when it appeared one was ahead and the other was lost. Each experience, each delay, each moment of solitude has been an initiation guiding you toward your highest selves. Not the versions driven by fear, fantasy, or lack, but the versions anchored in truth, responsibility, and conscious love. Union does not erase individuality. it refines it. It does not replace purpose. It amplifies it. And when it arrives, it does not feel dramatic or overwhelming. It feels grounded, clear, steady, like recognition rather than surprise, like alignment rather than effort. This is the deeper truth. Union is not the end of the path. It is where the real work and the real magic begins. Sacred union does not arrive as a reward for endurance. It arrives as a reflection of embodiment. It is born in the moment. Need dissolves into choice. When the divine masculine can no longer run from himself, and the divine feminine no longer waits to be chosen in order to feel complete. This is the turning point most souls misunderstand. You are not standing at the doorway of life, waiting for permission to enter. You are already inside it, breathing it, living it, claiming it. Your worth has never been dependent on his recognition. Your wholeness has never been delayed by his readiness, and your destiny has never required someone else's awakening to begin. When you stop postponing your joy, your peace, and your expansion for the sake of timing, something profound shifts. You stop orbiting potential and start inhabiting truth. You stop explaining yourself and start trusting yourself. You stop shrinking to stay connected and begin expanding into who you really are. Ask yourself gently, honestly, and without fear, what would change if you truly believed that nothing is missing from you right now? Because the version of you who knows her worth in her bones, the one who has stopped abandoning herself for connection, the one who lives unapologetically in her truth, even when no one is watching. That is the frequency of sacred union. And here is the truth many are still learning to accept. Whether union manifests in physical form or not, you win. Because you have returned to yourself. Because you are no longer bargaining with love. Because you chose alignment over longing. So tell me, beautiful soul, what has your soul been discovering about what you truly need? Since you stopped focusing on his readiness and started honoring your own? Leave a comment below and type, I choose wholeness before union. Come so. Your words may be exactly what another soul needs to hear today. If this message resonated, please like this video, share it with someone who is walking a similar path, and make sure you're subscribed to Spiritual Universe for more guidance on divine connection, embodiment, and sacred alignment. And when you're ready, the next video is waiting for you below. Continue the journey. You're already closer than you think.